Do you think Ned Stark's bastard bleeds like the rest of us? Well, Lord Snow, it appears you're the least useless person here.
So for someone unfamiliar with Game of Thrones, how would you describe it?
It's, you know, it's an epic fantasy. It's that's the best way of describing it. It's a huge story, and I suppose it's primarily about power. It's about one throne, one seat of power, and those people who are trying to get it, those factions and families who want what goes with that throne and with that power. Without going into too much detail, that's essentially it.
So your role as Jon Snow, how did you get the role? How was the audition process? Just tell us about that.
I mean, the audition was feels like a long time ago because it was.
You were
for
one of the
pilot.
first people cast.
Yeah, I was, I think, and it was about a year and a half ago, and it was a pilot I got through from my agent, which was HBO, and I was watching Sopranos at the time, and I was like, okay, this is exciting, you know. And I read the first script, and I was hooked. Actually, didn't used to be a fantasy fan, but I kind of read the first script, and I was like, this is cool. So I had 3 auditions for that, and I got the role, and I was just like over the moon. And then again, it was only a pilot, and then the series went, and again I was over the moon. So it keeps getting more and more exciting, and it's about to come out. So that's another excitement.
Very cool. So can you tell us a bit about your character, Jon Snow? He spends most of his time up north in the Wall, away from most of the other characters, or the main characters in the show.
Yeah, I think the one thing I realised recently, which is odd that I didn't realise this before, is that he's one of the very few characters, and he's involved in an area that's the only kind of area that's not wanting the throne, that's not obsessed with the power, that wants nothing to do with the throne and what goes with it. So that's quite interesting to start with. So he goes up there primarily because he's ambitious, but he's a bastard. He's an illegitimate child, which is tantamount to nothing. So he needs to make his way in life somewhere. So he goes up north to this place where everyone's treated equal, and he wants to rise to the top there. Obviously, it's not what he expects when he gets there, and certain things happen when he's there, which makes him wonder whether he should be there. But yeah, he has always wanted to be a brother of the Night's Watch. I think he's always wanted to go up to the Wall like his uncle Benjen did, you know, and so that's been in his mind from an early age, you know.
So you mentioned you weren't necessarily a fantasy fan before you got into this, but have you since read the books? Like how far in the series? I imagine you at least read the first book.
I read all the books.
Read all the books?
Yeah, I read the first one. And I told myself I wouldn't read anymore, and I went and read all of them because I got hooked, you know. And they're very like that, the books. They're you can see why they wanted to make it into a TV series. They've got great scenes in them, great characters, and they just keep you reading, you know. So I went far too far ahead of myself than I should have done, but now I'm pulling myself back and going, okay, first series just done.
So you have some idea of where the character is going. So if knock on wood, you guys
knock on wood, yeah.
Yeah, you got
it's plastic.
It's plastic. So if you have some idea of where the character is going, does that sort of inform your performance at all? Or are you sort of worried that you maybe jumped the gun and got ahead of yourself?
I think at times I was worried that it did. You know, I was being Jon Snow too far ahead of myself. But actually, if you stick to the script and you stick to scene by scene, the writers are so good and the writing's so good that you can't go wrong but be what he is at the time, which is he's an angry, young, underdeveloped leader, you know? He's kind of, he wants to be like his father, but he's not. He gets kind of angry and his emotions bubble up. So I think that's something that hopefully as the books go on, he matures, and that's what I want to do to him. I want to mature him and make him more and more, you know, settled in himself.
So you've read ahead, so you know he's got a bit of a mysterious past.
Yeah.
Do you know about any of the rumors to do with his past? Have you heard or read anything about that?
I do know the rumors. I've heard many rumors, and they're very cool rumors. And I'm not getting ahead of myself because I'm, you know, I really hope that some of the rumors I've heard are true, but they're not written yet. It's still in George's mind, you know. So it's kind of you know, I hope that he is what the fans hope he's going to be, and be cool if he was, and you know, but we'll see.
So you come from basically a stage background. You were in War Horse. This is your first major television role?
Yeah, first film or TV role.
What kind of differences, just like, are there between the two sort of, stage, screen, film now with Silent Hill, like, that you've noticed?
I find film and television more terrifying than theatre. You know, getting up in front of a live audience is nerve-wracking and adrenaline rushing, but once you've done it once, you can change it the next time, and you can adapt it. It evolves. I love theatre. I love the liveness of it. TV and film is brilliant in its own way, but completely different. I think a lot of people told me it's very similar. You know, you do the same thing, but you kind of don't. It's the same acting, but I think the terrifying thing about it is that you do something, maybe 3 or 4 takes, 5 takes, and then it goes and you can't touch it, and you lie in bed sleepless nights thinking, I could have done that differently, I could have done that, I should have done that. And you learn as you go along, and you can't change. You have to forget what you've done. You can't change what you've done. It's out there. They use it, you know. So I think that's the terrifying aspect. The exciting thing is you wait 6 months and then you get to see this thing they've created, you know.
So it's a surprise for you as well.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Going back to Jon Snow, one of his most important relationships is with Samwell.
Yeah.
Is it John Bradley? Is his name?
It's John Bradley. Yeah.
How did that relationship work out?
I hate him.
You hate him?
He's an absolute. No, I love him. He's great. No, we're lucky because they have a really great relationship in the story, from almost from word go. You know, they kind of click, and me and John met when we went to series, and we get on really well. Like, we had a lot of sitting around in hotel rooms in Belfast doing nothing, and we kind of bonded as mates offset as well as on. So yeah, I think I get to work with him a lot. If it carries on, if it goes for more than one series, not word, all that, you know, I think that it's great to have him there because we're already very good friends. Yeah, and they have a great relationship, John and Sam. You know, John's a very dark, kind of brooding character. He gets very too serious, very anxious, you know, very worried about things, and Sam lightens him up, which is nice to have. It could get one-dimensional if he's very, you know.
So this is your first big role. Do you find it intimidating at all working with guys like Sean Bean, Peter Dinklage? Just the list goes on. Like, the cast in the show is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it was intimidating thinking, okay, I'm gonna be working with Sean, Peter, you know, all those great actors, Mark Addy, although I didn't get many scenes of Mark. But they're actors like anyone else. They're great people, and although they're more experienced and know exactly what they're doing, whereas you might not, you can learn from them from watching them what they're doing. Working with Peter was fantastic. I've got some great scenes with Peter. A couple of scenes with Sean. He's a great bloke. You know, it was a great learning curve to work with these guys that have been in the industry for so long, and I can only thank my luck for that. You know.
Cool. Can you talk a little bit about the fight choreography? Buster Reeves is pretty well known in the industry. I imagine he put you through your paces with that kind of stuff.
He's a funny guy, Buster. He's a really nice bloke, and he's he's very good at what he does. In that he didn't just create one style for this series. He made sure that all the different houses, all the different areas of this world had different fighting styles, which I think is important. Right. So John and Rob and Ned all have this kind of dirty northern fighting style. You know, they use their fists, they use their hands, as much as they use their swords. You know, whereas the Southerners, they use their they kind of more eloquent with their swords. And I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing. And he was very good at teaching, and I went through a lot of personal training to make sure I was strong enough for those long day shoots of sword training. So I think it went well. I was happy with it.
How's your relationship with the fans been so far? I mean, do you read online? Do you go and read like winteriscoming.net, all these sites, just like the rumor mill, all this? Have you been stopped on the street? Has anybody recognized you for the role?
I haven't been stopped on the street yet, no. But yeah, no, I do go on the web and look up stuff and look at some of the fan sites. Yeah, I really like to. It's I'm kind of feel like I'm a bit of a fan myself now, you know, since getting into it. And so I have been looking up, and sometimes it's your best source of information. They know stuff before you do. So,
yeah.
And actually, I'm excited about this project, so I want to know what's going on all around it. So yeah, I have been on Winter is Coming, yeah, and different sites on the net, and yeah, they're really enthusiastic, you know, and they want it to be good, and there may be differences when it comes out, but I think I hope they'll like them.
Right on. I have a few questions from Twitter. We sort of put the
Right.
call out. Just,
yeah.
So Nicole asks, how is working with ghosts? They haven't seen much of the dogs in the in the previews or anything like that, but Northern Inuits are pretty wild animals a lot of years.
Yeah, I mean, those dogs were perfect for looks-wise in a lot of ways for the part. They're not the easiest to train, I don't think, because they're very energetic. They're not active, you know. They don't know when things are rolling, you know. So it was tough, and there were scenes that had to be cut that Ghost or other, you know, other of the wolves were in because it just couldn't. There was too much to ask from the dog. I wanted to get really close to the dog called Cooper, you know, but again, he's the trainer's dog. You know, you can't really bond with something that belongs to someone else. But he was great. Yeah, no, like everything in the end that was essential that needed to get done, he got done, and it sometimes could take a while. But he was so sweet that you couldn't get angry with him if he wasn't doing something right, you know.
Right on. So Michael asks, are there aspects of Jon's storyline that you're really looking forward to? You know, knock on wood, future seasons, like just specific moments maybe that you can point to that, you know.
The fight with Corin Harfand in the second book. I love that bit. I love that he goes and joins the wildlings. He has to prove his loyalty to them by killing his friend. I think that's just a brilliant.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, yeah. Shit, should I not say?
We'll put a warning in there.
Okay. But yeah, and the whole he gets a love story, which is again fantastic for him because it's another thing to test his loyalty to the Night's Watch, you know, and I think that's the main thing in the second season if it goes that I'm really looking forward to is that whole Agreed story, you know.
Cool. The movie Shams want to know if you have any favorite cast members. Or, you know, who was the best to work with? I'm obviously not picking favorites here, but
I think from day one in the pilot, obviously the initial cast, I got to know very well. I got to know Alfie Allen and Richard Madden. We're kind of very close friends now, along with John Bradley as well, and Harry Lloyd and Amelia. I think that, I mean, obviously there's going to be a divide in the cast between your older, more experienced actors and younger actors. You know, that we'll get on very well, but you're going to hang around with the younger actors more than you do because you want to go out and have fun, you know. But yeah, so it was great work. It was great working with Peter Dinklage. Like, he's fantastic, and he's going to be fantastic in this series. And so to work with him was a bit of a dream.
Cool. So lastly, the name of our site is Dork Shelf.
Yeah.
We always like to know what people collect, if they have any, like, you know, geeky collectibles, not necessarily like action figures or anything like that, but if there's anything you have, prized possession that you would show off to someone when they came in, that maybe someone, you know, doesn't know about.
What would I show off? What have I got that... Do you know what? I collect everything that I've done. Like, that's very narcissistic. But, like, I kind of have a cupboard full of Warhorse memorabilia and now Game of Thrones memorabilia.
Looking forward to the Jon Snow action figure.
Oh, God, I want there to be a Game of Thrones video game so I can play as myself, you know, that'd be cool. But as far as collections, I never really collected anything. When I was a kid, I collected buttons. That's a weird thing, but I don't anymore.
You threw them out, they're gone?
No, they're still there.
Oh, they're still there,
Back
okay.
at my parents' house.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Nothing, I don't know what I'd share as a prized possession.
Cool. All right. Well, Kit, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And good luck with the show. We've seen the first 2 episodes and absolutely love it.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.